This came from a conversation yesterday, and I thought if one person struggles with it, a lot of people probably struggle with it. And it's why are the people in your life not supportive of your journey to be healthier? Maybe that's not you, but I know there are a lot of people who struggle with this. So I want to give some input as to why that might be happening. But first, hey, I'm Janet with Be Blessed Health and Fitness. If you're new to following me, I am a virtual health coach helping people just like you live their very best lives every day through better health and fitness. It starts with me, so I show up every day. I'm showing you I showed up for my workout. I just finished my workout. I don't know, I struggled today a little bit. Not that I couldn't do the moves, not that I was a little winded, which doesn't make any sense as it wasn't really a intense cardio day. Maybe I've got a headache. Maybe that's why. And I just did the same workout on Saturday, so I've been sore since. So maybe that had something to do with it. I say same workout. It's not exactly the same. It's the same format. Anyway, it's my favorite one, but I have literally been sore. Not so much today, but like I was sore from Saturday for days in my, like, it worked some obliques that apparently I haven't worked in a while. Which is why it's always so good to change things up and try something new. But anyway, let me go back to where I started. Why don't the people in your life support you on your journey? And it's more on the nutrition side, I think, normally than the fitness side. I think people can get on board with you going to work out. It doesn't impact them when you change your habits. I mean, maybe I have had people be like, oh, you can skip your workout today. Just come do this thing. And I have to be strong and I have to say, no, I'm going to do my workout first. And sometimes that means, getting up earlier to make sure that I have time to get that done, or joining my friends later, or just working my schedule around the fact that I'm working that into my day as a set appointment with myself. But the harder part, I think, is the nutrition side. Especially if you've got a family, if you have a spouse, and you start changing the way that you eat and they're not ready to change their habits, they're often maybe belittling, insulting, just not supportive. They may bring food into the house that is not on your meal plan. And how do you deal with that? First of all, why do they do it? I mean, I think there's a couple of reasons. One is fear. We all are afraid of change. So things are changing around them and they don't like it, and so they automatically resist it. It's also asking them to get out of their comfort zone a little bit, and they're not ready. So you might be ready, but they're not ready. And so they're a little scared that you're going to make them do it. They don't want to change their life. And so anything that like comes at them and says, and it also makes them feel sometimes like maybe they're not doing enough, right? They see you over here doing all these things and they know they should, but they don't really want to, or they're scared to do it. And so if you do it and you succeed, they have no excuses for not changing their life. And so that's scary. I've also had spouses, husbands might be afraid if their wife gets in shape and starts taking care of herself that she's not going to want him anymore. So all these factors, I've had friends, you go out to dinner with friends and they're like, oh, just have that one more drink. Oh, let's eat this appetizer. Why do they do it? Well, because they see you changing and it threatens them if they are not on the same journey. Again, none of us like change innately, and so our first initial reaction is to resist it, whether we know it or not. It may not be intentional. Maybe it is. Maybe your husband is bringing home, pie. Did you see my stories the other night when my husband brought home pie? Now, I'm not going to say I don't eat that stuff sometimes, and the other night it was me saying, I really want a little dessert. Let's get a pie. And the pie was like this big, by the way. It wasn't like a big pie. It was like a little one-person pie that we shared. And I'm not saying you can't treat yourself sometimes. And I'm not saying that you can't consciously make that decision. But it should be your decision, not someone else's decision who is forcing that on you or bringing it into your house where you don't have control over resisting it. But I will say that you are in control of you. So if someone is bringing it into your house, you can politely ask them to not. I don't care if you eat it, just don't bring it in my house. Or you can just resist. You can hide it, like ask them to put it where you can't see it all the time, or you put it where you can't see it all the time. And sometimes you just have to be strong. You have to find a way, a habit, something you have instead of that thing that is good for you. You know, maybe it's a piece of fruit. Maybe, you know, I use my shake, my daily superfood shake a lot. It tastes like dessert. Gets that craving for ice cream or chocolate or anything like that out of my system, but I fueled my body with all sorts of good things. And when you go out to eat, you are in control of what you order. You are in control of whether you eat that appetizer on the table or the basket of bread. I know it's hard when it's in front of you, but sometimes if you have someone with you that's supportive, you can ask them not to bring the basket of bread. You can ask someone to order an appetizer that you don't particularly care for. Just try to remove some of that temptation. And like same thing with your house. Like if your husband's bringing home stuff, like maybe have him bring home things that you don't really like that he likes. For example, my husband loves candy, like gummy bears, sour, worm, you know, I don't know, all the sugary, soury candy, not chocolate. I'm a chocolate person. So that candy can sit there for weeks and I don't touch it. Now, if you had a bunch of chocolate sitting in front of me, I might grab a piece. But I will tell you, like, I keep chocolate in my house and I have learned to eat in moderation. I can have just a couple pieces of like a Hershey's Kiss or something like that, a couple squares off a chocolate bar. Satisfies that craving. I don't have to eat the whole thing. If your craving is salt, like chips, okay, don't buy the chips maybe, but I get it, right? You have kids, they eat that stuff. Well, one, I would say try to train your kids to eat better, but I'm not living by example there. Like, I mean, I do train my kids to eat better, but they still eat that stuff. And we still have it in the house, but we do buy the little packages of chips, not the big bags. So you eat, if you did like absolutely cave one day, you're eating like a little bag for 100 calories. You're not eating the whole entire like big bag of chips. But again, you can buy chips you don't like. I don't particularly care for plain potato chips, but I love Doritos. So don't buy Doritos, because if they're in the house, I'm going to eat them. So anyway, I say that to say that it is important to have a support system, and sometimes we're lucky enough to have our support system with the people closest to us, and sometimes we are not. If you are one of the not, I'm sorry, but if you lead by example, they will likely come on board eventually, because when you proved them wrong, because they don't think you're going to do it, if you prove them wrong and you've proven that you're strong and you're proven that you can do it, they might eventually get on board. Maybe they'll at least stop fighting you. But if they see you change and they see how that impacts your life, makes you a happier person, makes you a better wife, a better mom, a better friend, they're going to jump on board and ask what you're doing. What are you doing that's making you look and feel so great? And I think that's the thing too, to focus to them on how you feel. I feel good when I do this. I don't feel good when I eat that. And you know that's true. So if you share that, some of it's eventually going to rub off. Think about it this way. When you feed your kids broccoli for the first time, do they like it? Probably not. It takes repeated exposure. It takes the just have one bite. It takes the eat as many bites as you are old tricks until they start to actually not fight you. I mean, it still might not be their favorite food. I'm not going to say broccoli is my favorite food. I do like it, but it's not my favorite food. But they'll appreciate stop fighting you and eat it. I know this from experience. I have done this with my child. And now, I mean, there are vegetables he won't eat, but I take it a win if he will eat green beans and broccoli without complaining. So there's ways to introduce things slowly, and there's recipes you can make that the whole family will eat that are healthy. I can help you with that. They will stick to your meal plan and also feed your family. I've also been known to feed, I don't cook separate meals usually, but I have been known to make an extra for the kids, right? Like I'll make mashed potatoes or mac and cheese because I don't need those extra carbs in my dinner, but they do. They're growing. They need more calories. So I will do that, and it's important to make something that you know that you can resist, so you're not going to eat the leftovers, Or maybe you just have like a tiny little taste and they get the rest.